It's Greg Powers, Director of Recruiting here at Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and it's the early national signing period, and we're going to do a little bit of a recap on Texas A&M and how the Aggies did in the early signing period, or at the beginning of the early signing period, as there are still some commitments pending, as Anthony Smith, at the time of this video, has yet to make his final decision on where he's going to sign his letter of intent. It's going to be happening at about 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday, National Signing Day. At this time, it's about 5 p.m. here Central Time in Dallas, Texas. That's a huge commitment for the Aggies and its recruiting efforts in the class of 2024, as Anthony has been a long-time Texas A&M commit. But let's focus on who did sign for the Aggies today, and I'm going to start at the top, and that's big man Blake Ivy from Clear Springs down in the Houston area. The four-star made his decision to sign with Mike Elko and his staff over some late runs from some prominent schools down the stretch here. I really like to get for Ivy because he is a multifaceted offensive lineman. He has experience playing right tackle and left tackle, and he has a tremendous wingspan to stick at the tackle position. But in a crunch, he could slide inside and play offensive guard. He also has some talent at offensive center, so I think that he's a position-flexible lineman who can fulfill any role up front, which helps lessen the blow of Cohen Eccles, who decommitted from Texas A&M down the recruiting home stretch. I really see those two players as basically mirrors of one another. I have Ivy rated just a smidge over Cohen Eccles, but they possess a lot of the same qualities. Ivy's a guy who I think makes an early impact because he's extremely athletic. He can get to the second level and secure blocks. A&M also signed a commitment from Ashton, the four-star offensive tackle from Katy, Tompkins. He's had a long-standing, prolific high school football career. He's always been solid in pass protection. He can open up huge holes in the run game. So I really do like what Ashton is bringing to the fold for Texas A&M. He's also been pro-Aggie throughout every twist and turn in his recruitment, which really helps as you set the table to start to secure some other talents. Keeping it in-state, Texas A&M also inked Converse Judson safety Miles Davis. He's a thumper, a guy who I think probably plays more in the box than he does in a more traditional safety role. He's a tremendous tackler who does show good range and pass coverage, and I like that about his skill set. Now, just to kind of set the table for what to expect out of Mike Elko and his staff here on the recruiting trail, because, you know, a late hiring in this cycle opened up some question marks, opened up the doors for some of their potential big commits who were on the table. Namely, we talked about Anthony Smith, but namely Terry Bussey, the five-star from Timpson. He remains a Texas A&M commit, but he's not going to ink in the early signing period. He's going to wait till the next National Signing Day in February before he makes a call on where he's ultimately going to play his college football. I like where things stand with Texas A&M and Terry Bussey at this time. I think at the time he committed, it was a two-team race between Texas A&M and LSU, but the Aggies were able to hold out a late push from LSU, and the reason they did that is because Bussey put a lot of thought into what he was going to do with his decision-making process. So it wasn't just about the coaching staff or one coach here or one coach there why he ultimately picked Texas A&M, and I think he's going to use that same criteria as he tries to make sure that he finds the right fit before he actually inks his name on a letter of intent. So I commend the young man for doing his due diligence to find that fit. But that's a big commitment for Texas A&M because he is the type of player who can come in and be the guy that can rally up a class. He could be that big five-star signing. So heading into the next signing day in February, all eyes are going to be on Terry Bussey and where he's going to go. All in all, Texas A&M signed the number 17 class or has commitments from players who make up the number 17 class currently in the country. If they lose a couple guys off that list, they are going to slide down in the national rankings somewhat, but there's still plenty of time for Coach Elko and his staff to evaluate players in the transfer portal and take a look at maybe some guys in Texas and beyond who did not ink in the early signing period. So could there be some key additions as we turn the page from December to January and into February? Keep it locked right here on Dave Campbell's Texas Football as we'll continue to provide hard-hitting coverage on Texas A&M athletics and beyond.